Alrighty, let's try this again. Jennifer McCreath, December 31st, 2011, take 3. The first attempt at a year in review video went too long that I didn't feel I was going to post it. The second one, the battery's conked out. Actually cheating a bit. It actually already is January 1st, 2012, 12:02 a.m. But we're going to pretend this is the last video of 2011 because it's a year in review for Jennifer McCreath. We're going to do this as quickly as we can. Sex reassignment surgery. What a way to start the year. January in Montreal. Showed up in decent health. Healthy enough that they agreed to operate on me. There was a risk I might report overweight. 2 amazing weeks in the recovery home. I got to meet some amazing trans people there and develop some close friendships and bonds that hopefully will last a lifetime. Unbelievable to get that milestone done. Recovery, a lot of work, maintenance on a post-op vagina part takes a lot of your time and effort. Plus it limits your mobility for a while. I spent February basically at home in bed recovering, playing on the computer, doing a lot of advocacy work. Did some policy writing for CPATH, CPATH.ca, Canadian Professional Association for Transgender Health. I also aligned with 17 other trans people across the country to lobby the media and the government to push forward on a human rights amendment bill, C-389, that would provide human rights protection explicitly for trans people. Unfortunately, we were not totally successful with that effort, but the fight continues. March. 55 days after sex reassignment surgery, I ran my 26th career marathon in Atlanta, Georgia, of all places. Probably not the brightest thing to be doing after surgery, but I just couldn't resist the opportunity. I was already going down to the States to visit a doctor to get my hands on progesterone, a female hormone that doctors in Canada don't seem to want to prescribe for trans people, due to their perceived lack of research and the fact that they don't think it helps. Well, guess what? It does help. It helps you grow breasts as a trans woman. There you go. Can't really see my breasts well in the video, but it worked. I got to a doctor in the States to prescribe for me progesterone, and I gained some weight, but I also gained breasts, which is great news. And now I've got my doctors on board here at home, which is wonderful news. Oh, forgive me if I seem a little stressed out or bored. I've been trying to record this video all night. Great trip to the States. Visited Michelle Figueredo, a fellow trans woman and advocate that I met in Montreal. Great person, great friend. It's kind of the theme for me this year, is actually meeting other trans women, developing friendships. April came along, and kind of resisting all these years getting involved in politics. I've always wanted to remain neutral, sit on the fence, but I felt the time was right. I first looked at the possibility of joining the Animal Rights Alliance Voters Party of Canada in the federal election. In the end, decided not to go in that direction, but was very excited and flattered that I was recruited by them to run and become what would have been the first trans person to ever run in a Canadian election at the provincial or federal level. In the end, that did not happen. I did jump off the fence, though, and join the NDP party, throw my support behind them, and later on in the year I got involved in at the provincial level and with the district association, and was part of a team that picked a very successful candidate for our district who ran and won and is now holding one of 5 seats for the NDP party provincially here in Newfoundland, and that's going to keep our district association busy for a while, so I'm excited to be part of that team and continuing. Congratulations and hello, Dale Kirby, our Member of Parliament, who was also party president for a while and also well known as a university professor, a very distinguished individual who will bring a lot of value to the political world for the NDP. May, Josie Renee Harding, a tremendous individual, a trans woman in New Brunswick that does a lot of education and outreach work like I do here in Newfoundland. After lots of communication, we finally got to meet in person and hang out and record some serious videos and record some silly videos. That was really fun meeting you, Josie, and I guess we had, what, about 4 or 5 visits throughout the year. I would go back. I ran the Fredericton Marathon, and I ran the Halifax Marathon, and the Mississauga Marathon in May. 2 visits with Josie there, and 1 visit with several of Ontario's best-known trans advocates. That was also a lot of fun. The runs were very tough, very damaging actually, the running, given my increased weight and lack of training. The Halifax Marathon was a special run because my friend Aaron Poirier was putting together a fundraising venture to raise money to help poverty in the African country of Gambia, which she actually ran across this summer. So I was determined to be a part of that charity team, and I was also determined to finish my 29th career marathon, and to do so in May, which I did. Unfortunately, at the 26K mark, my knee, which I had previously hurt at Fredericton, literally gave out on me. Tendon basically tore. 16K to go. I finished the race and limped through a heck of a lot of pain. Probably not the brightest thing to do, but that basically put me on the shelf for the summer. There were no races in June or July or August. Oh my. Wayves magazine, wayves.ca. I became a journalist, and I submitted articles to a periodical publication. I got Newfoundland interested. This is an East Coast LGBT magazine, mostly out of Nova Scotia and New Brunswick, and they wanted to have Newfoundland content and get Newfoundland people reading the publication. And I'm a pretty controversial and outspoken person, and you can say Newfoundlanders pay attention to this paper because they're curious to see what am I going to say next. A lot of fun being a part of that. Back to Moncton in June for Transgender Day of Celebration. Josie Harding put together an amazing weekend, a camping trip of all things, for trans people and allies from Eastern Canada to get together and just hang out and be themselves. Wonderful fun, great experience. July, Pride here in Newfoundland, St. John's. I was part of a team that incorporated a non-profit entity to take on the role of overseeing Pride Week, bring some structure to it, and get more mainstream in terms of, I guess, credibility. And it worked. We had a lot of growth and development, things happening that never happened before. We had flag raisings in rural towns as well as the big city. We had a huge event at the Arts and Culture Center, and arts and entertainment stuff. We had celebrities involved from both here and afar. Also took quite a bit of criticism from people that don't like change, so we're doing our best to try to manage those criticisms and try to find a way to get everyone to get along. There really is no community here for LGBT. There's a few pockets of niche demographics here and there, but I did what I could. My team was excellent. I had about 12 kind of core volunteers that were part of this. Thank you to all of you. August, I was basically exhausted from the Pride planning, June and July. I managed to get to Moncton again for Moncton Pride and to put together the East Coast Trans Alliance, an alliance between trans advocates of the 4 eastern provinces. We're really excited about the work we're going to do and have done. I failed to attend the Quebec Marathon due to the knee and the lack of training, which proved to be a good move because the run got cancelled due to bad weather. So, there you go. September I did run my 30th marathon. Struggled through with the bad knee and back pain at this point. Finished the run here at home, St. John's, Newfoundland Marathon. I've run 5 in a row. Only Joe Ryan has run more in terms of an active Ironman streak. He's run the past 9. I've run the past 5. Then I finished my 5th Cape to Cabot run in October. probably the worst run of my life. Just awful pain and suffering. That obviously didn't help, but later on in the year, particularly because of that run, it all started in Halifax. Actually, it started in Fredericton. Fredericton to Halifax, damage, resting, but then running on the parts. Basically, I'm now in physio. That I've got a torn ligament in the foot and a ruptured tendon in the knee. Getting electric stimulation into the tendon to break up the scar tissue. I'm finally able to walk, where before I was literally limping. I'm done though. Sad to say, my marathoning it's pretty much done. I've announced my retirement again, and I think I'm serious this time. I do hope to get back into at least some sense of shape. Taking progesterone has been great in growing breasts, but it has also put on a lot of weight. I now weigh 250 pounds, which is about as high as I've ever been in my life. So yeah, that's not too good. Anyway, back to November. Transgender Day of Remembrance is a event that I've traditionally shied away from because I don't like the tokenism. The so-called LGBT community and the organizations, the one day they want to pay attention to trans issues is to remember the dead trans people. Well, what about the ones who are alive? But I took advantage of that opportunity to bring education and awareness to trans issues. I booked an event that was covered by mainstream media here in Newfoundland. Transgender Day of Remembrance was the theme, but there were speeches about current issues not only for trans people, but teenage bullying of gays has been a major concern that has led to several high-profile suicides in North America. So it was an opportunity to address that concern and I guess show that there's at least one 37-year-old trans woman, now 38, who would like to be a part of the solution here. And again, trying to build that community and bring the different demographics together, the different age groups, the L's, the G's, and the T's coming together to work together to try to solve problems. It worked. We got on TV. More people are now aware of the issues. This hamster arrived on November 19th, one of the highlights of the year. Hi, Scooter. You've seen Scooter on my videos before, so I won't spend too much time here, but having Scooter added to the family here has been a lot of fun. It has been fun to watch Scooter interact with this gentleman right here, Danny the cat, who likes to sit here and he likes to sleep. Can you meow for us, Dan? Hi. Where's Dasher? He's over there. Whoa, that's a bright light, Dash. By the way, here's my Christmas tree. I guess I'll talk while I'm filming for you here. Yeah, late year, I retired from running officially, started physio. Formally recognized that the East Coast Trans Alliance would not become a corporate entity, but it would exist informally. I had a very lonely Christmas, which was kind of sad. The first year I actually cooked up a nice turkey. I had this tree. Stayed home in Newfoundland instead of going to visit family that wasn't really sure I wanted to travel. I'd been exhausted. Had a couple of good friends here in Newfoundland that I anticipated spending time with on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. Those two friends, I don't know what happened. They kind of turned their back on me. They went in different directions. Now I'm really upset. And haven't talked to either of them for over a week now. Trying to decide exactly, okay, where do I want to go with my social circle? I spent Boxing Day just trying to avoid human contact. I went over to the duck pond. Great thing about having 4 days off and having a car rental for the weekend at a good price. I just took off on my own and went to remote parts of rural St. John's. I went to Middle Cove Beach and looked at the water and the icicles. Went to Cape Spear and looked at the lighthouse. Beautiful, kindred connection with nature. Stayed away from human contact. I spent so much time at the duck pond that they've come to know me to the point where they feel comfortable with me, they trust me, they actually let me pick them up and hold them and cuddle with them. Yeah. frustrated, angry, heartbreak. Let's talk a little bit about that. For the first time in about 4 years, I've really found myself deeply interested in romance and sexual interests, shall we say. Now that I've got my surgery out of the way and the parts are almost healed up, I finally feel that I can finally go out there and date and be my true self and feel comfortable and confident in such situations. And unfortunately, I found myself taking an interest in quite a few people who would end up rejecting me. It happens. Not everyone's going to want to go out with you. But I finally, 37 and a half years to get to where I feel I'm comfortable and confident with who I am. If you came to me 5 years ago and said, "Would you date me?" I'd probably say no. Now I think I'm a good catch. I think I got a lot to offer. I guess it's just not happening this year. Maybe next year, maybe not. It's not something I'm really thinking about now because I literally feel as though I can't trust anybody. And pessimistic, people let you down. I guess I just need some time to kind of get over this multiple broken heart, I guess. The frustration has gotten to the point where, plus the fact that I've been so busy, I'm trying to offload things that I'm doing. I walked away from one particular committee I was on out of, I guess, disgust. It's on my other videos, but the whole issue with PFLAG aligning with an abortion rights organization, it didn't sit well with me, so I walked off a committee. I went public about this. Took a lot of heat from certain people, but I'd like to hope that I opened up the eyes. And it's important for us to realize that every different advocate that comes to a table to work on a common issue is going to have a diverse background from the person beside you. You can have a bunch of trans people working on an issue. Some of us are going to be pro-life, some of us are going to be pro-choice, some of us are going to be NDPers, some of us are going to be liberals. Certain issues that have nothing to do with the business just need to be put on the side. And ultimately, that's been my message: is I want to work for organizations that remain politically neutral on sensitive topics like that. So I put my foot down. Don't regret my decision. I regret the fact that some people seem to want to hold it against me, and it's tough. You put your nose out there as a public figure, as a leader, and as an advocate. You're going to be loved by many, but you're going to be despised by many as well. I know my father was a politician for 4.5 years, and we had lots of chats about how unfair it can be. It's one thing to be criticized for something you do, but people get mean. There are actually people out there making up false things, spreading stories about me that did not happen, and that really upsets me. To be looking at, I guess, slander and libel, always confuse the two. If people are going to make an opinion about me, I want it to be based on reality and not based on fiction. So that was really frustrating, but yeah, it is what it is. Well, 2012 is here. Where do we go? What do we do? I don't know. I haven't really given it a lot of thought yet. Major change, I think. I want to be a lot more selective in the works, the advocacy, the volunteer work I agree to take on. I need to be more selfish, I think, as I spent so much time and effort helping others that I forgot to help myself, and I paid the price this year. I need to get back. I need to maintain physical health to the point where I'm not limping. I need to be able to walk. I want to be able to run again. I want to get back in the swimming pool. I want to try to lose some of this weight. I still think there's an athlete in me deep down. I think there's athletic accomplishments out there. I'm pretty sure they're not in distance running, but I want to give that a go. Things like pride, I'd like to get to the point where I can hand that off to other people. Stay involved, but I don't want to do all the work. It's a lot of work. We need other people to do that work, because what if I leave? What if I die? What if I move away? So recruiting people that are willing to keep holding that flag high and carry on from the great work we've done last year. Human rights, trans issues, trans health. I get so many emails. People recognize me as the go-to trans resource here in the province. Trying to set up other resources didn't really work, so it's me, and I'll continue to take anybody's email. I don't turn anyone away who thinks I can help them. Money, finances, mess, debt, need a better job, need more income. Gotta work really hard to figure that out. I'd totally hate to have to leave Newfoundland. I love living here, but if there's a better job somewhere else, I'm gonna have to go take it. I just have not seen career opportunities for me. Pre-transition, I was earning $60,000 a year, a great job. Lost the job a year or so later, unemployed for almost a year, landed a job that pays $32,000, done that job for 2 years, have not advanced, have not moved up. Is it because I'm trans? Yes or no? Well, I think it does play a major factor, whether people want to admit it or not. I think I'm going to have to look to find work in a place that's a little bit more accepting of diversity, specifically trans people. So 2012 might be the year that I sadly have to pack my bags and pack the moving van and go somewhere else, but it'll be a positive move because it means I found a job somewhere and I'm going to get myself out of debt. I'm going to make the money I need to pursue all the advocacy work I want to do and get the private health care. It's sad. We got to work on this, people. The healthcare system is not taking care of the trans people. We need to find a way to ensure that trans health products and services are available without having to dip into your credit card. It's absolutely ridiculous. I'm also hoping I'll get over my temporary bitterness and hopefully find a way to re-engage these two particular friends that I've lost touch with over the past week. I'm sure we'll find a way to keep those friendships going. I hope to meet new people. I want to find love. I'm 38 now, by the way. I'm getting older. And I want to start dating, and I want to find someone to get involved with romantically. Yeah, I kind of want to try out my new sexual parts too, but yeah, that's going to take time. I'm not a slut. If it goes that far, it's going to be because we've developed a trusting relationship that's pretty serious. But that is something I want. Okay, 23 minutes. The sleeping pills are starting to kick in. I think it's time to sign off. This has actually been a good video. Well, let's end off our year, 2011, with Scooter the hamster. Hi. Hello. And of course, Danny's napping. Danny the cat. Hi, Dan. Oh, he's awake now. And Dasher. Hi, Dash. He likes to sit by. I always turn this bright light on. But, oh, there's my Santa Claus hat. You saw my tree. There was bowl games on. Thank you. Thank you, football, NFL, NCAA. When you're having a bad day, nothing like a football game to temporarily remove your mind from all your problems, and you can sit and watch a great athletic. All sports should pay attention to these football leagues because they do a great job. Great product. Anyways, thank you. Happy New Year. Have a good night, everyone. I hope you had a good year, and I hope the year ahead is a good one as well. I'm sure there'll be lots more of me on YouTube. Thank you. Good night.